Best player you've played, Fire, Tulsa,
Oh,
Phoenix, St. Louis. Best player you played with in your career. Could be players if there's a few of them.
oh, great question. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell this story. So my first, it's funny. So my first game with the Fire was a season opener. Was it 2016
Yeah.
season opener? We were playing New York City, and it's funny because like so we had, obviously my family was out. We had neighbors that were out there, and one of my neighbors, I found out like years later, wrote this like blog post about, this kid from down the street who was like just juggling the soccer ball around the neighborhood nonstop, and then,
Mhm.
he told the story of like watching the opener against New York City, and it was really cool. I would look back on it because it's kind of like, oh, like, neighbors were noticing that I would just juggle the ball around the neighborhood nonstop. But yeah, that game I was hoping I would get in because I had a good preseason. And like the 70th minute, something like that, they give me the nod, tell me I'm going in. So I go to half field and like the ball does not go out of bounds for like 10 minutes. And
Yeah.
I'm just standing there like freaking out. I'm like, come on, like I'm like getting more nervous because I'm standing there for longer. And then in like the 80th or something like that, the ball goes out of bounds and I sub in and we have a throw in. And I'll never forget because I run in, my adrenaline is pumping, and I look over my shoulder and it's Pirlo right behind me. And I'm I come from an Italian family. I was like grew up watching Pirlo. He's one of my favorite players ever. And I look back and I'm like, oh my God, that's Pirlo, like right behind me. And so the ball gets like thrown in, it gets flicked up in the air. And I vividly remember like I like looked at Pirlo, ball's up in the air, and I'm like, I'm gonna win a header over Pirlo. So I like jump up when he doesn't even leave the ground, obviously, because Pirlo doesn't try to win a header. But I'm like, that was the coolest moment of my life. And it's still, it's still up there. So I mean, that first game, like getting to play against Pirlo was unbelievable. Obviously, like bashing. I was loaned out most of the year, second year of Chicago when we had bashing Schweinsteiger. But I mean, just seeing his, when I did obviously preseason, when I'd get called back and train, I mean, just the attention to detail that, you look at his first touch, how he hits a long ball, how he does, you could tell it's just like 10,000, 10 million hours. Who knows how many hours he spent just pinging a ball
Yep.
to perfect that technique. And he's just so like, you notice like that gap of like, some of these players where it's like, if you think you're good, like wait till you see like some of these guys. And he was one of those where it's like, the things he did during training seemed so simple, but it's just a testament to, oh wow, this guy's another level. So that was really cool. Yeah, maybe those two guys.